Welcome to Reggie's World. The Reggie's World podcast is with you again today. And on today's show, I have the privilege to be joined by my dear brother from another mother, same father, meaning that we're both understanding of the love for, the appreciation of, the worship for God, Allah. This is my Muslim brother, Mouchette Muhammad. Welcome to the program, dear brother.
Brother, you know it's always a treat, brother, when real folk meet. Peace be unto you.
Yes, sir. And for those that do not know, let me do the honor of introducing this brother to you. This is Mouchette Muhammad, a member of the Nation of Islam, a brother who can break down the science of Islam. This brother and I came together in the city of Detroit many, many moons ago on the city streets. Literally just bumped into each other while we were out there helping families, helping young men to become men, into the gun violence situation, trying to figure out the best way to solve this gun violence issue in the city like Detroit. This brother's also the vice president of the Ceasefire Youth Initiative, the nonprofit organization which is dedicated to my younger brother, my baby brother, my only brother who lost his life to gun violence in the city of Detroit. Myself and Mouchette Muhammad, we have a program that we provide in Detroit public schools, charter schools, and what it is a program that works with primarily young men, school-aged boys in junior high and high school, and we provide mentoring programs. We also provide conflict resolution programs, and at the same time, mental health programs, which I think by far is the most important, and we'll get to that shortly. But then also, Mouchette Muhammad, the Ryan Montgomery Foundation is something that you are pretty much a partner and the lead on with Detroit's own Royce the 5'9", and you could tell us about that, brother. Break that down.
Yes, sir. I'm the national director of the Ryan Montgomery Foundation, which was started by myself and you're right, Ryan Montgomery, who is also known as Royce the 5'9" in the hip hop world. And what we're looking to focus on is mental health, and that's what the passion. That's where it starts, and until we can get our people to understand that there's no stigma with respect to mental health, we're going to continue to suffer from the ills that our community continues to suffer from. So the first thing we got to do is get rid of the stigma and understand that our people are suffering from different mental diagnoses. We don't even understand that there's different mental diagnoses. You know, when we're talking about depression, we're talking about paranoid schizophrenia, we're talking about, ADHD, and there's many others, but we don't even understand it. We don't. As a matter of fact, when we talk about it in our community, it's something that's embarrassing, and we got to get that stigma off so that we can start getting the help we need. If we're not healthy mentally, we can't be healthy physically.
Now, what I want to do, we're going to come back and talk much more about the mental health aspect of the programs that we provide in the city of Detroit. And anxiety is one that a lot of people sometimes don't mention because it's so simple, so it's common, but it's just as important as any of those other levels of mental illness. So I want to touch on that because that's something that I deal with, anxiety. And that's the reason why people say, oh, yeah, you smoke marijuana. Yeah, I don't smoke it to get high, but it's truly medication for me. We'll touch on some of that in a moment. Also, we'll touch on your experience in the boxing community and your relationship with the great, the late Emmanuel Stewart with Kronks. As a matter of fact, you see my T-shirt I'm wearing today, bro? Kronks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna put it down. So what we're gonna do is right now, I'm going to run a disclaimer. I have to do this because for those of you who are joining us for the first time on ReggieRegRadio.com, this show is my show, and what we do is we got to lay out the law, lay down the law about what this is all about, so that you could truly understand, so you won't get it confused. The show is called Reggie's World Podcast, but you need to understand a little something. So just take a listen. The views and opinions of Reggie's World podcast are absolutely positively those of Grown Folks Radio Network, the parent company, the Express Yourself Network. And due to the fact that we are broadcasting via internet radio and not the antiquated terrestrial radio broadcasting method, I can say what the hell I want to say without a program director who really does not care what the hell I say. But due to the fact that he works for a gigantic corporate radio group that really doesn't give a damn about the concerns that need to be addressed in my community, but they are instead standing on pins and needles with the FCC. So he tells me to refrain from being me by having a very strong opinion about any and every damn thing I wish to have a strong opinion about, followed by a threat to reprimand me if I continue to be my individual human self by standing up for my absolute constitutional right to express myself through freedom of speech, which is a strong part of this nation's law of the land, instead of just simply allowing a brother to express himself. Well, for clarification, I am here on Reggie's World to speak as freely and as genuinely as I fucking please. Because as the title says, this is my world. So if you have a problem with me expressing my viewpoint on life's issues, then here's my recommendation for you, dear cousin. Turn me off. Turn me the hell off. And that there concludes this disclaimer. I'm just saying. Yeah, you got to break that down, because sometimes you need one of the terminology that you use a lot, Brother Mouchette, and understanding. So now that we have an understanding,
overstanding.
Right, you overstand. Right. I love it. So now that we have an overstanding, let's move on. So we're gonna get today. We have you on the show, Brother Mouchette, to break down the science or to get a better understanding or overstanding of gun violence as it relates to urban American cities like Detroit and St. Louis and Chicago and other places. So we're gonna get into that. But I want to talk about the boxing. You know, you lay it down. You wear many hats, brother, and you wear them well. And one of the things that we do, and you could shine the light a little further on this, with the young men, with the nonprofit Ceasefire Youth Initiative, when we're in the schools working with these young men, one of the part of the process is we take them to the gym, to the boxing gym, and we let them put some gloves on and do a little thumping, you know, and where that didn't knock that energy down. So the only thing you want to do next is go home and take a nap and go to sleep instead of thinking about doing something crazy. So an idle mind is the devil's workshop, but we take care of that for these young boys. So talk about, Brother Mouchette Muhammad, your relationship with the late, great Emmanuel Stewart and the whole Kronk's boxing situation and your experience in the boxing world.
Well, you know, I started boxing when I was 11 years old. Lived in the neighborhood of Kronk over West Warren and West Grand Boulevard. Stayed on Big Old Street. My brother and I moseyed down to the gym. My favorite sport, Brother Red, as you know, is actually baseball, and we were playing baseball up at Kronk. And we went down into this musty gym in the basement. And as we were passing through the doors, you can hear heavy bags and jump ropes and speed bags and people shouting instructions. And when I walked in, the first thing that hit me was the smell, but the testosterone that was in the building immediately hooked me, and I fell in love with the sport. I started boxing, and I remember when my godfather Emmanuel Stewart first seen me, he said, "Who is this kid?" Because I was coming from Goatee Kung Fu. My mom put me in Goatee Kung Fu because I was a little skinny kid, and she thought I was kind of soft. And she put me in Goatee Kung Fu and didn't realize that what she was
Little
creating.
did she know.
Listen, she didn't know she was creating a bully. And so when I got down to Crunk, they said I already had good balance. And I had already had a fundamental boxing. They thought I had boxed at another gym, but I didn't. So they put me in with some of the best young fighters at the time, the Stevie McCroys, the Stan Longstreets. I mean, I boxed the gold medal winners, but I was boxing them, and this was like my second day in the gym. And so they knew that I had that kind of heart. And Emmanuel Stewart took a liking to me, and so that was my start in boxing. Of course, as I grew and fought and had a number of amateur fights, when I got to the age of about 16 or 17, the streets of the city of Detroit kind of takes us over. Especially when you come from the neighborhood that I guess YBI was extremely influential.
Young Boys Incorporated.
Yes, sir. And I didn't come from a family of influence or affluence. As a matter of fact, we were living check to check, mouth to mouth, and I was a part of that family where you go in a house and you don't know where your next dinner is coming from. You open the refrigerator, wasn't nothing there. It's looking back at you. So, so the streets pulled on me. And so when the streets pulled on me, I fell away from boxing, but of course I still had that love. By the time I got back to boxing, by that time, I was a member of the Nation of Islam, and I went back down to the gym, and I noticed that the amateur program wasn't what it was when I was in the gym. So Emmanuel leaned on me, my brother, and another one of our boxing alumni, Tarek Fikes, to rebirth the amateur program. And that's what we did. We started throwing shows with the help of my godfather, Emmanuel. We started throwing shows out at Inkster, and we rebuilt the Crunk amateur program along with Emmanuel's nephew, Javen, what they know him now as Sugar Hill, who is the trainer of the world heavyweight champion, Tyson Fury. So we went back and we started doing the work, but it's been a passion of mine. It is a passion of mine, continue to be a passion of mine. And as we incorporate boxing into our young men lives, we find that they get an outlet where they can express themselves, get their aggression out, but also at the same time control their aggression. We teach them how to do that in boxing. So so that's just a little cursory story of my boxing years.
Yeah, and again, I'm rocking that Crocs t-shirt, y'all.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Represent from Detroit, Crocs Boxing Gym. Everybody knows the name. They know this name all around the world, and it's right here in the city of Detroit, Michigan. That's where it comes from. And also, real quick, tell us about your experience as not, I guess, the latter part of your boxing career, and that is as a trainer, as a boxing manager, going to the taking fighters to be like the what do you call the fight right before the main attraction. You've done that. You've been on the main attraction as well, and tell us about how you've worked with many big names in boxing.
Yes, sir. Once boxing it's almost like a fraternity. Once you're in it, everybody knows everybody. It's like once a person plays basketball and he played at St. Cecilian or he played in the AAU, all of them know each other because they've competed against each other one way or another. And when I started training fighters, I've been blessed by Allah to get to the highest heights of managing and training fighters. Matter of fact, I've had fighters who were the co-main event on Floyd Mayweather's undercard. Floyd Mayweather was fighting Sugar Shane Mosley. And so we were in camp with Floyd. My fighter, Cornelius Locke, was the co-main event on that particular show, which gave me an opportunity to really get to the highest heights of this boxing game and see the politics of boxing. But working with fighters, I've worked with national amateur champions. As a matter of fact, I still work with one of my 10-time amateur national champion. His name is Khalil Harvey Jr. We call him Lil KK. You can look him up. Lil KK born winner. You can look him up. Matter of fact, I was just with him yesterday. I've worked with a number of professional
Mhm,
fighters.
mhm.
So I mean, it's a passion of mine that I believe I'm gonna take to the grave with me.
Yes, sir. And I'm right there with you. Boxing is baseball and boxing, my two favorite sports, and it's amazing that's a similarity that we have,
Thanks. Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Leo. Right.
That's
So
right.
So before we get into the gun violence thing, which is very serious, we got to hear him get to it. But shine some light on the Nation of Islam. You, dear brother, I'm a Muslim brother. I am a Muslim myself, on more of the Orthodox persuasion. But you are down with the group that I have so much, tons of respect for, and that is the organization led by dear Minister Louis Farrakhan, and that is the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir. Well, and I want to give the greetings to all of our Muslim family. Assalamu alaikum. And
Uh,
today is Friday and Juma Mubarak. We all know today at 1 we'll all be bowing down at Juma prayer. So
Jamal
Juma
Khalil.
Mubarak to our family. Yes, I am a member of the Nation of Islam. I came into the nation. I got a wind of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in like 1988. I was in the street and this is a funny story. Thank God we could talk like this on this show. I was in the street, and my brother-in-law was one of the biggest. Well, he was a major dope dealer in the city of Detroit,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and we were in one of our spots, and he was rocking up a kilo of cocaine. We were rocking up a kilo of cocaine,
mm-hmm.
and he was playing one of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's lectures from like 1973. And the lecture was titled, "The White Woman is a Bitch,
Mm.
and her son and her children are sons of bitches."
Yeah.
Now, that sounds vulgar, but when he broke it down scientifically, it was masterful.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were listening to it, we were rocking up cocaine at that particular time, and it was like, wait a minute, who is this man? And my mind
Right.
was focused on getting these rocks off, let's get this money,
Right.
but it was seeping into my subconscious. And so one day I went to my brother-in-law's mom, and she had a tape of the minister, and this was an opportunity for me to lay eyes on him. And it was a tape called True Christian Love. And I'm looking at this man with a red bow tie and a dark suit, and this True Christian Love tape
Mm.
took over my mind. So I asked her, "Can I borrow it?" She said, "I normally don't let people borrow my tapes, but here you go, Moochie. You can listen." That's what they call me, Moochie. Moochie, you can listen to it. And I took it home, and as I was bagging up a pound of weed, I'm listening to it, and I heard the minister say, "If your man is out there smoking weed, he is destroyed." And I had a joint in my hand when he said
Mm.
it. And I
Mm.
said, "You know what? I put the joint down and never picked up weed since then." Just
Wow.
those words. And so I came into the Nation of Islam. And as I came into the Nation of Islam, my teacher was the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Rasul Muhammad. A year in, he made me a minister. And then I became a minister up in Pontiac. And then I had an opportunity to meet the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan early on. And I've been doing this work ever since. And Brother Reg, all the work that I've done on
Yes,
behalf
sir.
of the Nation of Islam and on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that's my passion, and I
Yes,
continue
sir.
to do the work, and I still implement the principles that we live by.
Yes, sir. Beautiful, beautiful story, man. We talk about storytelling and how that's so instrumental to, like, just like you told us about the story where you're listening to the recording of the brother minister, and you that enlightened you. You sitting there putting together, rocking up, about to go hit a lick, and then you listen to this brother to enlighten you, and you change the course of your life, man. So those stories
Absolutely.
are wonderful. Now on to this gun violence situation. Now, Mouchette Muhammad. For those of you who are just joining us, I am Reggie Davis, and I'm the president of the Ceasefire Youth Initiative. And my dear brother Mouchette Muhammad is the vice president of the Ceasefire Youth Initiative. And of course, it goes back to my baby brother, my only brother, Vito Davis, who lost his life to gun violence on the city streets of Detroit in 2001. It seems like it was just yesterday. He went to Denby High School on the east side, had a scholarship to Eastern Michigan. And one late night on the city streets of Detroit, five young men between the ages of 13 and 19 who didn't have a father or a father figure to steer them in the right direction. Saw my brother who had a car, nice car, had clothes and things that he should have because he was doing the things that he was supposed to do. And he had a father and an older brother to steer him in the right direction. Just so happened that they crossed paths, and these young men said that they wanted what my brother had. So they robbed him and ended up taking his life as a consequence. And that story is what moved me and my family to put together originally Cousins Against Guns, and now Ceasefire Youth Initiative. And I'm so blessed to have this dear brother right here, Mouchette Muhammad, a part of this team. And you can explain it a little better than me, but what we do in the schools, our model, Mouchette Muhammad, of Ceasefire Youth Initiative, we work in the school system. We work purposely with school-aged boys, junior high and high school level, and the premonition is, hey, these young men, many of them don't have fathers or father figures. And somehow the natural order, Mouchette Muhammad, you could check me on this, the natural order of things, the way Allah, the way that God says that it's supposed to go down, is that we come from a wholesome family, a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a inner circle of family. So that the young man, when he first starts to go into the restroom and set the toilet seat up and pull something out, he need to know where to aim it and how to do it. Mama, as good as she is, the female in raising black men, don't get it wrong, because I was raised by my grandmother, my mother, don't get it twisted. I think they did a good job. But the natural order, Mouchette Muhammad, says that a man raises a boy. And the proper way that works is that he instills in that boy everything he needs to become a man. And so when we take our program into the schools, we find oftentimes that there are a lot of young men in the schools, in junior high and high school, who don't have a father. Either the father is not around, he's not living, he's just not around for some reason. Something's going on, but he's not there. Detroit has more single-parent households than any other city in this country. That is a pure fact. So when we take our program, Ceasefire Youth Initiative, into the schools, we're there attempting to change the course of things through the family. Am I right, Mouchette Muhammad?
Yes, sir. Well, we go in sincerely. You have individuals who go into the schools, Brother Reggie, and you can attest to this. You have individuals who go into the schools just chasing a dollar, where we're trying to chase men, little young boys, and turn them into men. You know, the Quran says that a woman raises a young man or boy until the age of 12. After that, the father has to take over. If the father's not around, then Allah takes over. The thing is, when you have young boys out in the world who run rampant and don't have guidance, then you're playing with fire. You know, we came up in a time where when the older guys would hang on the corner, if we wanted to be around them, but we showed promise in whatever field it may be, me boxing, or this kid may be smart in school, the old G's wouldn't let the youngin come around. He'd tell them, here, take $5, $10 here. You get on away from around. You don't want to be out here. You got a chance to get out the hood. And the older G's will live vicariously through that youngin because he would invest in him. Well, we don't have that principle in the street no more. So we don't have men who can stand before our young men and teach them what men should look like and teach them how to handle the pitfalls in life that they're going to face. And so when we go into the school, that's our job. Let's go after the young men. We got to teach. There's an old saying, when men stand up, boys sit down. Mm-hmm. And when we take that principle to heart and we go in not looking for a check, but we looking to check the bad behavior of young men, and they see that we love them, then we get results out of it. Now, you would wonder, why in the hell wouldn't people want to invest in a group that does the work and get the results like that? That shocks me a lot. But yeah, that's our job. We go in, we do the work. And Brother Reg, we've been doing the work how many years now, beloved?
Oh man, 15 plus.
My goodness, yeah. But the time flies when you're doing what you love.
Absolutely, and one principle, or should I say, something that it's a subculture with in Black America is this whole. I'm going to go the primary way of saying it back in the school in kindergarten, the tattletale. I don't want to be a tattletale. I saw Pookie, he shot Ray Ray, but you know what? I ain't gonna be no tattletale. And we got plenty of stories that we could tell you of how our organization, Ceasefire Youth Initiative, like one primary example, the Henry Ford High School in the city of Detroit. This is some years ago. I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago, possibly. There was a child who was shot and a gun that was killed in the high school at Henry Ford High School in Detroit. And all the members of Ceasefire Youth Initiative went over to the school. I'm talking myself, a radio personality for many years in Detroit, Mouchette Muhammad, a member of the Nation of Islam. We had former gang members. We had athletes who were born and raised in Detroit who made it on the prominence in the National Football League, like Larry Foote. We had rap artists on the local level, rap artists on the national level. Big Sean used to do a lot of stuff with us recently. And so we go over to the school, and we see the police, Mouchette, walking around with the students asking questions. Who did this? What do you know? Tell us this. They were in a badge and a gun. And so the students are like, I don't know. Damn well they know everything that happened. I don't know. So then when the police walk away, here comes the Ceasefire Youth Initiative group, organization of men like myself, a radio personality. We had TV personalities. We had Nation of Islam members, former gang members, athletes, rap artists, you name it. We walk up and immediately these young people, especially young men, identify with us, and we break that whole chain of communication, and we start, flowing with some Jay-Z or, some Pac, some Nas. We're kicking in, and they're joining in. And all of a sudden, Mouchette Muhammad, what happens? These young people begin to tell the story of what happened, how that young boy was gunned down right outside that high school. So we have the information. The police don't have it yet because the people don't want to. I don't want to tell. The police tell, and I'll be on TV, and they said that I told on Pookie. I'm not about to do that. But when we come in, we knock down the levels of uncomfortability. They become very comfortable with us, and they begin to speak. Mouchette, am I lying, or am I telling it like it is?
Telling it like it is, beloved. And see, the thing is, when you deal with our youth and the police, there's a disconnect there. There's a distrust there. When police go in, they want to rough our young men up because they go in with preconceived ideas and preconceived notions. They feel that they got to treat the young Black male like he's some criminal, and because they already got a preconceived notion or a preconceived idea that this is what they are. So naturally, there's going to be a distrust there. So this no snitch mentality is more so to say, I'm not going to help you do your damn job, Mr. Police Officer. You do your job. So if you need to know what happened, then go find out. I'm not going to be the one to tell.
Right.
But when it's someone who's innocently killed, and the no snitch mentality, so the police got to do double the work trying to get information and try to pull teeth to get information. But when it's someone's son or daughter, and when we come with love, we come with affection, we come with concern. And when they hear us and feel the energy from us, they want to find out who did it as well. So they give us the information because they know that we don't look at them the way the police look at them. We look at them as family members. Just like Brother Reg, how you called people on your show cousins. You
Right.
call them cousins.
Right.
And that immediately made people feel like we're related. Oh, that's family right there.
Right.
And you know me, I call the young men nephew, and they call me unc. So that automatically breaks down the barrier of communication because they feel that they can trust. Okay, you're family, so we can trust, and you're here sincerely. And we've argued with many of these groups going in. Half you Negroes are not sincere. You are looking at our children just as worse as police are looking at them, but you're looking at them as a dollar, and the police are looking at them as a threat and a thug. So we're saying, but when we come in, we're looking at them as family. That's nephew, and I'm unc, and you call them cousins. So they go,
Right.
okay, I can talk to you all.
Yeah, this family. This family. This ain't nobody with a badge and a gun. This family. This my brother. This my brother. Let's get to the bottom of this, bro. This is what I saw. This is exactly what I saw. Versus the badge and the gun. I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask them. I don't know. So in 2021, this is taken from CBS News. Brother Mouchette Muhammad. We talk about cities like St. Louis, Detroit, Baltimore, Chicago. What do we all have in common? I asked that question again. St. Louis, Detroit, Baltimore, Chicago. What do those four cities have in common? Well, one thing, they may have a few other things. One of the things that we all have in common is that we continue to be top 5, top 10 on list like most dangerous city and murder capital. In 2021, this is according to CBS News, the highest murder rate in 2021, the city of St. Louis, Missouri, 694 murders per 100,000 people. Let me say that again, 69.4 murders per 100,000 people. So St. Louis is now number one. We don't have to go back too many years to where Detroit was number one. We were the murder capital. It just so happened that on this list, Detroit is number 4. 2021, according to CBS News, the city of Detroit, Michigan, is number 4 on the murder capital list. Number 2, Baltimore, always right there with us. Sometimes we're ahead of them. Sometimes it flip flops. Number 3, New Orleans, Louisiana, and number 5 was Cleveland. But when you look at most dangerous, Detroit, right there, top 5, Mouchette. 2021 on that list. So we are top 5 on always, continuously, on most dangerous city and murder capital. Why is it that we can't fall down to number 100, Mouchette?
You know what's interesting? I find that in that list, whenever they put these goddamn lists out, it's always black cities. They expose and they magnify black cities. When you run down that list, these are predominantly black cities, but you never want to talk about the number one sexual assault of white cities. You don't never want to put a spotlight on that. But what does that psychologically do to black people? They automatically, when they put these goddamn lists out, they make black people think that we're dangerous. We start thinking we're dangerous to ourselves. Now, let's take a look at what causes all of this violence. Let's take a look at the systemic racism that permeates on these particular cities that cause these people to go into fight or flight mode, or cause these people to go into constant survival mode. No, you want to take it to an angle to make it look like we're constantly dangerous. And then you want to, okay, now we're going to try to, it's almost like the cigarette company where they get you hooked on cigarettes, have you buying cigarettes, but then they invest in the gum to get you off of cigarettes. So they get money coming in and get money coming out. It's wicked as hell on what they do. Now, if I said, what do we need to do to curb this violence? First of all, we gotta control our own narrative. That's number one. If we can control our own narrative, and we can start spotlighting the gifts that we have in the black community, and we can go. I remember when we've had meetings, Brother Reggie, you can bear witness, where we've sat down. As a matter of fact, it was on a meeting that we had with Malik Shabazz and others, where we all met down at that restaurant off of West Grand Boulevard. I can't remember the name
Oh
of it.
yeah.
And Malik Shabazz ended up giving us the name ceasefire.
Right.
And when we pull great minds together to combat the problem, how come that doesn't get the same media attention as the problem itself? No, because sensationalized violent stories sell more papers. Sensationalized violent stories get more media coverage.
Wow.
Wicked, man. Wicked.
It's crazy. That is crazy, man. I mean, the black and white. Some people say, "Joe, why you always want to go black and white? Why it's got to be about race? Why it's got to be about?" Well, you know what? The bottom line is, it is actually black and white. It ain't our fault, but that's the way that this society operates. It's all about black and white.
That's right.
I mean, that's the bottom line to it. But the question that I ask Brother Mouchette Muhammad, and a lot of people ask every day, all the time, is a question that it's a tough question. You touched on it, but what is the absolute answer to solving this gun violence? What is the absolute solution to start to see the list, murder capital, most dangerous city? There is no list anymore. There ain't no. Can you imagine the day that? Will that day ever come before we meet the big day, the other day? If you know what I mean. So
absolutely,
wouldn't that be a beautiful day, Mouchette Muhammad, if we saw the CBS News and everybody else? Well, it probably take a long time showing it, but we finally see that type of list, that beautiful story, that there ain't no damn city on the most dangerous or the murder capital. Wouldn't that be a beautiful day in America?
That'd be a wonderful day, but it also is an economic wheel that will fall off the economic car of this society, because they profit off of violence.
Right.
Remember the NRA. At the end of the day, NRA has an LLC. The NRA, they at the end of the day, the NRA makes money off of selling firearms. So we gotta ask ourselves, when it comes to gun violence, how in the hell we don't make guns on Mac and Bewick? We don't make guns, down in the French Quarters. We don't make guns on Crenshaw Boulevard in LA. No, where do these guns come from? They're imported in to our neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're imported into our neighborhoods, who literally has a agenda and who's profiting off of our ignorance and our violence? That's one thing. So we got to ask the right questions so that we can get to the right answers to get the right solutions. So if you got the most violent cities, what are they doing to commit the violence? Where they're shooting? Well, where the fuck are they getting the guns from? You see, we got to ask these questions. Where are these guns coming from? So if we can stop the pipeline of guns coming through, maybe we can stop the pipeline of school to prison pipeline. We can clog that one up as well. But we got to start on, because the guns don't shoot themselves.
Right.
Think about it. The guns, there's somebody behind the trigger pulling the trigger. So if the guns are coming in, if we can stop the pipeline of guns coming into the neighborhood, then maybe we can start getting the young men, look here, I got a pair of gloves, I got some mouthpieces, some headgears, and some cuffs. You ain't got to play trick-or-tachi. Let's see if you can throw them hands and start laying hands on one another like we used to, like Christian preachers at a Baptist convention. We can put you in the square circle and see if you really got that kind of heart. That's one way to attack it, but it's a multi-pronged attack. That's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't that be a beautiful day if we can go back to the old school way? Hey, you were with me. We work together on just about everything we do. And a short time ago, I was Wayne County Commissioner of the legislative branch of government for the biggest county in Michigan, Wayne County, which houses the big, beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan. And as Wayne County Commissioner, you, Mouchette Muhammad, was the chief of staff, and we put together a piece called the Bullet Bill, as you recall. And the Bullet Bill
And the hell we
Uh,
caught.
oh man, we got so much attention from that on the national, international level. It was unbelievable. The death threats and everything from NRA cats and everything. But the bullet bill also on a local level received a unanimous vote put in the form of a resolution with the Detroit City Council. The entire council supported it. And, you know, we had hell to catch going up to Lansing and doing some stuff even with the county board. But the bullet bill itself shed light on how you know, you got a gun, but you also have bullets. So how about we put some legislation on the ammunition that you purchase and take taxes from that and put it into an area that helps families bury their loved ones that can't afford to do so with gun violence. The bullet bill was a great piece, and you know, one of the things that I talked about when we were putting that piece together is when people heard the terms the ceasefire youth initiative, the term ceasefire, that means stop fire, ceasefire. People get that confused. We weren't saying we don't believe in guns. I think black people need more guns than anybody else. The point that we wanted to really get across was that guns do not belong in the hands of those who mean harm. Back to the Ryan Montgomery Foundation, back to ceasefire and what we really stand for in these schools with this mental health piece. Guns should not be in the hands of someone who has a mental illness. Guns should not be in the hands of those who want to commit some sort of domestic violence. Guns should not be in the hands of those who are not responsible enough to possess that gun. Guns should not be with those who don't understand that you should lock your gun up in the house, especially if you got young children who want to explore.
That's right.
You know, guns should not be in the hands of people who will go on a vacation and leave their 357 right there in the kitchen, right there in the kitchen drawer, loaded, ready to go. So, how important is it, Brother Mouchette Muhammad, for us to understand the issue of how guns do not belong in the hands of those who mean harm, but it's okay for those who want to take a gun, want to go and sport and shoot game up in Michigan and want to really just protect their family, Brother Mouchette Muhammad?
You have the NRA who immediately jumped down our throats because they think that we were trying to take their guns away by limiting their bullets. You know, the Second Amendment of the Constitution says you have the right to bear arms. We're not saying scratch the Second Amendment. We're just simply saying that the gun should be put into the hands of responsible owners. If you are purchasing a car, they do a thorough credit check for you to get your car. If you want to get a house, they do a thorough credit check for you to get your house. Well, if you're going to get a gun, shouldn't you do a thorough background check on this person? Well,
Absolutely.
if I just simply get a gun and there's a thorough background check for the gun can't, you got to have bullets for the gun. So we were just saying you need a thorough background check for the bullets because the gun doesn't kill, it's the damn bullet that kills. So the bullet bill was saying, look, when you come and buy a certain amount of bullets, then you need to get a thorough background check so we'll know exactly why you need this many damn bullets. What are you trying to do? Why are you stocking up on bullets? And so when we put that out and we try to make that clear, we caught hell.
Holy hell.
They threatened our lives, and oh my goodness, people were coming sitting in the office. Hey man, what about this? But man, okay, that's kind of. I'm like, really over bullets? That goes to show you this white man loved his gun and his dogs.
Absolutely, saying his dogs. So, Mouchette, one thing I say when people ask me, when they say, "Okay, Reggie, you this guy from the radio, you did radio 36 years, and you know you did your thing, and you got this nonprofit, you're trying to fight gun violence, and you know, for your baby brother lost his life, and you and your family and your team you want to conquer this, you want to make you want to create some sort of change that will affect cities like Detroit and Baltimore and St. Louis, Chicago, and make a better place for people who look like us." And, you know, I say to them, I said, just as abstract as it is for us to turn on the TV news every day and see continuously Pookie killing Ray Ray over and over again. Just it seems like it's just a broken record. Every day at the gas station. You see somebody sitting in the car at the gas station with a young brother with his girlfriend. They got the baby. She got her carrying her little 7-month baby in her arm. And here come two brothers covered up, the face covered up. And they run up to the car and they shoot and kill the young man and the young lady. And the little baby lives. You know, to the Coney Island on Joy Road in Dexter. Where this young man, he was in a car race with his friends. They beat him in the car race. And then they took his money. And took his car and all kind of other things. So he pulls up at the Coney Island. He see their car there. He tell the young lady that's driving the car, he said, hey, hold on, pull over. She don't know what he's talking about. He just said, pull over in the parking lot. He gets out the car. He goes in the Coney Island, Brother Mouchette Muhammad. These true stories in the city of Detroit. He runs into the Coney Island, and they got the cameras in the Coney Island right there in the hood on Joy Road Dexter. You got to have cameras. You're a fool not to. So they got very clear cameras where you can see everything. All details, 3-4 cameras in this Coney Island. This young man can't be but 17, 16. He walks into Coney Island. We're watching it on camera. We're watching it on the news, watching it on the local news. We're seeing this boy walk into the Coney Island. He walks up like he's standing in line. He's riding back with one of the boys. I think it's about four guys in the Coney Island that beat him in that car race earlier, and they took his money in his car. So he goes up in the Coney Island. He's standing there in the line, and he's looking. I'll never forget that. He's looking around. The guy, I think the guy in front of him walks up to the counter next. He's next in line. He says, I want a Coney Island with some fries, and I want the fries well done. And this boy takes his gun out and blows that boy's brains through the mirror, through that window. Then the other guys on the left side, his boys see what's going on. They try to get the hell out of there. All the other customers busting out of there. But the other guys don't get out because he walks up to them cold-blooded, pow, on the camera, in their head, all of them cold-blooded head, and they just fall down like we're watching a movie. This is real life on local news in Detroit. A young man just blowing the brains out of 4 different young men who earlier in that day beat him in a car race, and they took his car and his money. That's a true story, Mouchette Muhammad.
That's right.
So when this happened, time and time again, they come to me and they come to you. You guys are trying to fight this gun violence. I'm tired of this. What do we have to do? Now we keep doing this. The churches take all the guns off the street and then triple the amount of guns go back in the streets. The police try to do this. It doesn't work. What are we gonna do? Reggie, what are you and Mouchette gonna do? So then when I say this, Mouchette, check this out. I say, you know what we have to do? Just as abstract of a situation as it is for us to continue to watch younger versions of me and you, Mouchette, Pookie and Ray Ray, blowing each other brains out every day on TV. I said we need something just as abstract to go against that so that we can start to see significant change in these numbers, so that we can start to see Detroit, St. Louis, Baltimore, Chicago, New Orleans, Cleveland. None of us they won't even have a list. How do we change that so that there will no longer be a list such as murder capital and most dangerous city? How do we do that? Check this out, Mouchette. This is what I said. I said we need to create a model in Detroit first. Detroit being the Mecca, and you can touch on this later. Detroit, Michigan being the Mecca of Black America. The Mecca city of Black America. We need to take the 600 to 800 young Black men between the ages of 13 and 20 in the city of Detroit. Those numbers come from a friend of mine who is what is he now? I think a police chief. And he told us this. He says he's a member of law enforcement, and he says there's about 600 to 800 young men in Detroit who are committing these crimes, who are robbing older women, who are breaking and entering, and carjacking, etc. What we do is we take 95% of these boys and we put them on 3 big jumbo jets, Mouchette Muhammad, and we fly these boys to a beautiful continent that you know because you've been there, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it in a minute. A beautiful continent with 50 plus amazing cities. It's called Africa. And we take these young boys 3 years, an entire summer, over to Africa on a program to take them on a tour to teach them about black people, the dominant, the kings and queens of the world, the black man, the black woman. Who are we? Here's Egypt. Here are the pyramids. Here's the Sphinx. Here are the forest. Check they're going to start to smell different smells they never smelled before. Eat different food, different diets they never tasted. Hear different sounds they never heard before. See bugs that are just as big as they are flying around, things that they've never seen before. And we're going to take them on a tour from Egypt to South America, Johannesburg, over to the Ivory Coast, to Kenya, to Ghana, you name it. They're going to see the entire beautiful continent. And we're there for a purpose, to educate and teach these young black boys who they are. And when I say this, Mouchette Muhammad, as a way to rationalize a situation that will start to create significant change as far as gun violence in these urban American cities. When I say that we need to take them on a jet plane and take them to Africa for entire summers, 3 summers in a row. And then I say when they come back, the 3rd year, when they're done, then their plane lands. And remember I said 95%, we're testing, it's a model. 95% will go on this African trip every summer. When they come back the final time and they land, that plane lands at over at the airport, Metro Airport. The 5% of those boys who never went, they're gonna say, "Hey man, welcome back. Glad y'all back. Hey, I got a gun. Come on, let's go rob this bank." What the hell you think them boys that went on this a part of this program in Africa are going to say? Are they going to say, "Yeah, let's get the gun. Let's go rob the bank"? Hell no. They're going to say, "Man, give me the gun. Give me the gun." You know that building on the corner, Pookie? Yeah, Ray. I know the right up there with the yeah. Okay, that just burnt down. Yeah, we're gonna fix that building up. We're going to sell hats and shirts and shoes, and we're going to take the profits, the proceeds, and we're going to go over to the senior home right around the corner, Miss Junebug's over, right? And we're going to put beautiful flowers in the front of that building, and we're going to take care and help those seniors. This is what we're going to do. So when I say this, Mouchette, it sounds like I'm crazy, but the truth to the matter is we have to do something as such.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The diameter you give a child's thinking will determine the circumference of their activity. And when you expand a child's reality, you find that they see different things and they react in different ways. When a child only knows the 4-block radius of his neighborhood, and when he says, "I'm going out of town," and going out of town to him means he's going to Southfield. That in and of itself is tragic when it comes to the mental health of that child. We had families growing up where in the summertime, the family would go and visit relatives down south or visit relatives in Ohio, and that gives that child an experience of a different atmosphere, a different culture. Going over to Africa, you said a continent with 51 cities, actually 51 states in Africa.
Right.
When you go to Africa, it not only gives you a broader sense of seeing things, but it gives you an opportunity to feel the culture of where they say we came from. Now, with me going over to Africa was interesting. I found that most of the African men don't like black men in America.
Mm.
And the reason why they don't like us is because the stench of arrogance that we've messed around and got on us from our sojourn over here in America, we kind of take with us over there the arrogance and when we coming home, they go, "This ain't your home. This is our home. We've been here. You
Right.
all were stolen, but you all
Right.
don't know anything about the culture." So we don't go in humbly. We go in as arrogant as white folk. White folk go in arrogant as hell that we've been, close association brings on similarity. So we don't even realize that we have that arrogance on us. What's interesting is that
Going over into Africa, the women loved us. Don't get me wrong. We had a ball. The women loved us. But the men were like, man, you all act like white folks. You know, we don't hear our accent here in the city of Detroit, right?
Right.
But if we go down south, we can hear the Southerners accent.
Mm-hmm.
They got like this Southern drawl.
Mm-hmm.
But they say Detroit got an accent. Let me show you how arrogant we are. We don't believe we have an accent. Because you go, man, Detroit got an accent. Yes, Detroit has an accent. You know, but because we believe that we have this arrogance. We don't have an accent, but everybody else does. That shows you that we have a sense of entitlement. And until we can humble ourselves, we're not going to get the results we need. So taking young men over to Africa, it gives them a broader sense of seeing, and that will help them. And again, that goes back to the diameter we give our children's thinking will determine the circumference of their activity. Coach K, I'm gonna call you right back, brother.
Right. Absolutely, brother Mouchette. And I'm gonna say this, man. I appreciate getting you up in here to do this 1 hour with me on Reggie's World, the podcast, and on ReggieRegRadio.com. But listen, I want to say this, bro. Promise me that you'll come back and we'll do another show because there's much more to talk about on this issue of gun violence, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. And I pray for the success of your podcast, dear brother. I hope it become one of the largest podcasts in the country. And you make you get more listeners than you got on the radio.
My man, and you know what? We only got a couple seconds, but I got to get a quick something from you on my man R. Kelly. Now, my thing is, they say that no radio station is playing the song around the country. You got Spotify, you got Apple, you got all those guys that are really knocking this stuff down. YouTube, there's nothing with no video. You can't see stuff of him dancing and doing his thing anymore. You just got still pictures on his songs. But this man, I tell him if he has a song like I Believe I Can Fly and all these inspirational songs that save people's lives and give hope to young black people and black families, why the hell can we not play? You know what? This is my podcast and I can play all the damn R. Kelly I want to, especially a song that every time we go to a family reunion, if we go to a school reunion, if we go to a wedding reception, anybody sitting down talking, as soon as they hear this, the one thing they immediately start to do, everybody at one time, all at the same time, they hit the dance floor, Mouchette Muhammad. Why?
That's right.
Because this man knows how to make music, beautiful music, for the family to come together and enjoy themselves. This is R. Kelly, and we know how to have a good time when we hear his music. So why the hell can't we play his music?
Make no mistake about it, brother. Look here, man, you gotta separate the man from his gift.
Thank you. The man from his music.
You got to separate the man from his gift. We bear witness. That man, God blessed him with a gift. And at the end of the day, look, I'm going to listen to R. Kelly.
Thank you. And I'm going to play R. Kelly.
There it is.
The other radio stations don't have to play any of his songs, and that's fine. Right here on ReggieRegRadio.com, we're going to play R. Kelly, okay? You better believe it. So, Brother Mouchette, I want to thank you again for joining us on the program. We're going to do this again real soon. So get ready for my phone call, dear brother. We appreciate you. And
yes, sir.
I want to say thanks for hanging out with us today, cousin. We'll talk to you again on the next episode of Reggie's World. Until then, I want you, listen to me, cousin. Until then, I want you to be blessed.